BB851, turn right, heading 180. 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
The outbreak of COVID-19 has caused the retirement of many different types of aircraft, including the Boeing 747 with KLM, Boeing 757 and 767 with American Airlines, and to be honest, so many more to name. However, the latest victim has been Qantas with their iconic Boeing 747 series, which has been forced into an immediate retirement, one that comes as quite a shock to many within the aviation industry. A number of enthusiasts were hoping to get the opportunity to fly on the Qantas 747s prior to its eventual retirement, which was estimated to be originally in around August and then pushed back to the start of 2021. Many had also hoped Qantas would be putting on some farewell flights to help say goodbye to the Queen of the Skies, whether that be domestically throughout Australia or something else. However, hopes of that have been dashed as the airline saw the final 747 complete its final commercial flight, carrying passengers from Santiago to Sydney in the past 24 hours. This is where the other remaining 747s are currently sitting, awaiting their final departures from Australian shores. VH-OEE is a 17-year-old Boeing 747-400ER, and this operated the final passenger service as flight QF28 from Santiago to Sydney. A little bit of history, this specific 747-400ER, registered as VH-OEE as mentioned, was indeed a test plane for Boeing, and in addition was only the second -400ER delivered to Qantas. Obviously, an airline retiring an aircraft is rather major news. However, in this case, the Boeing 747 with Qantas was a major part of their history, which now stretches, as we know, a century long. This plane has been around for almost half a century, 50 years, a whopping amount, and it highlights the changing times as the airline moves towards a new, more fuel-efficient long-haul fleet one day, including potentially the A350-1000. For the past few years, if you've been unaware, Qantas has indeed been retiring these 747s as they welcomed on the Boeing 787 aircraft. However, they've accelerated that retirement in the past 12 months, and of course rapidly in this month of March alone for anyone potentially watching in the future. The 747 series with Qantas was seen throughout the world, including on services to Johannesburg, Santiago, Tokyo, in the past, various destinations in America, and a whole lot more. The type was originally set for another 10 months or so of flying, but has been removed effective immediately following the outbreak of COVID-19 and Qantas suspending literally all their international operations. For me, it's a monumental retirement. Now, if you know the channel, I don't really get into anything personal here. On Twitter, definitely, but this is strictly news. I want to take a very different angle, if you will, covering this retirement. Ultimately, the 747 is an iconic aircraft. However, for me personally, it's my mother's favourite aircraft, and also my father's. They both helped me get into aviation. So for that, I'm very grateful, as without their passion for the industry, and also the Boeing 747, I wouldn't be sitting here today making these videos for you all, sharing my passion to you. I was actually fortunate enough to fly on board a Qantas 747 just last year from Sydney to Avalon on a charity drought relief flight, flying into the Australian International Air Show. And of course, I flew back. It was an experience and a half that I will never ever forget. And I'd actually highly encourage you, when hopefully the world gets back to normal, to try and find a flying Boeing 747 if you haven't already, and experience it while you can. Trust me, you will not regret it. And trust me, you'll remember it until your final days. I've covered the Qantas 747 enough here on the channel, but ultimately my thoughts remain the same, and that it's an iconic plane, a piece of history, of course, in the industry, but more so for Qantas and the Australian aviation scene. In addition, on a personal level for me, it's a major reason, as I mentioned, why I'm sitting here today making these videos for you. So with that being said, please do always stay safe. Thank you very much for your endless support, and I'll see you all next time.